The year is 1587. A golden age of exploration dreams of a new world across the vast, terrifying Atlantic, a land ripe for discovery, for glory, and for untold riches. Queen Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen, held the reins of England, her vision and empire stretching across the seas, claiming the untapped wilderness of North America. But this was not merely about conquest, it was about survival, a desperate gamble for a nation facing the might of Spain. A secure foothold in the New World was paramount. Enter Sir Walter Raleigh. A dashing courtier, a poet, and an adventurer, he convinced the Queen that England must plant a permanent colony, a city of hope, in this Virginia land. But where? Far enough from the Spanish to avoid immediate conflict, yet close enough to be strategically valuable. Their chosen site, Roanoke Island, off the coast of present-day North Carolina. This wasn't England's first attempt. 2 prior expeditions had failed miserably, plagued by starvation, disease, and violent clashes with the native inhabitants. So, what made this third attempt different? This time, it wouldn't be a military outpost, it would be a true civilian colony, men, women, and children, a community. The governor of this new venture was John White, an artist and cartographer who had visited Roanoke before. His vision was to paint a new world into existence. Among the 117 settlers was White's pregnant daughter, Eleanor Dare. And on August 18, 1587, she gave birth to Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the New World. A symbol of hope, a new beginning, but hope in the wilderness is a fragile thing, and this new beginning would soon face its own terrifying end. Life in the new colony was immediately brutal: scarcity of food, unfamiliar diseases, and growing tensions with the local Native American tribes. The once friendly alliance with the local Croatoan tribe, nurtured by White in his previous visits, had soured. Mistrust and hostility began to simmer. Realizing the desperate situation, the colonists made a plea to Governor White. He had to return to England. He had to secure more supplies, more men. It was their only hope. White was reluctant. He didn't want to leave his daughter, his granddaughter, but the fate of the entire colony rested on his shoulders. He agreed. But there was a crucial detail, a plan. If the colonists had to move, they would carve the name of their new location into a tree or a post, and if they were in danger, they would carve a Maltese cross above it. On August 27, 1587, John White set sail back to England, promising to return within a few months. Little did he know, he would never see his family or his colony again. But what happened next? What terrible fate befell the colonists? Was it disease, starvation, or something far more sinister? White's return to England was met with a grim reality. The Anglo-Spanish War had erupted into its full fury. England desperately needed every ship, every sailor, to defend its shores. Queen Elizabeth herself forbade any ship from leaving for the New World. All resources were diverted to national defense. White's pleas for a relief mission fell on deaf ears. Years passed. Years of agonizing waiting, each day a torment for White, knowing his family was stranded, vulnerable. Finally, in 1590, 3 years after he left, White managed to secure passage on a privateering expedition heading towards the Caribbean. He insisted they make a detour to Roanoke. Imagine that voyage. 3 years of nightmares, of wondering, what would he find? Would his daughter, his granddaughter, still be alive? Or would he find only ghosts? On August 18, 1590, Virginia Dare's 3rd birthday, White's ship anchored off the coast of Roanoke Island. The longboats rowed towards the shore. The silence was deafening. They landed. The palisade, the protective fence around the settlement, was still standing, a promising sign, but no smoke rose from the chimneys, no voices carried on the wind. They entered the settlement. It was utterly deserted, not a single person, not a single body. It was as if the entire colony, all 117 souls, had simply vanished. Dishes were left on tables, trunks lay open, a cannonball was half buried. It wasn't a hurried flight, it was an organized, yet utterly unexplained, departure. But then, White saw it, carved into a post of the palisade, a single word, Croatoan. And into a nearby tree, carved into the bark itself, was another word, CRO. No Maltese cross. The prearranged signal for danger was missing. This meant, according to the plan, they had moved, and they were not in distress. So, the most obvious answer was that they had gone to Croatoan Island, the home of the friendly tribe. But why? And why did they leave no other message? White tried to sail to Croatoan, but a massive storm, a hurricane, struck, his ships were damaged, his crew was demoralized, they had no choice but to abandon the search and return to England. John White never returned to America. He died in obscurity, never knowing what became of his daughter, his granddaughter, or his lost colony. For over 400 years, the disappearance of the Roanoke colonists has captivated historians and true crime enthusiasts alike. The theories range from the plausible to the truly fantastical. The most accepted theory, assimilation. The colonists, starving and desperate, sought refuge with the friendly Croatoan tribe, and over time, intermarried and became part of their community. Evidence for this theory comes centuries later. Descendants of the Croatoan tribe have oral traditions of having European ancestors, and blue eyes, a rarity among the tribes, were sometimes seen. Another theory, attack. Either by a hostile tribe or by the Spanish, who might have finally discovered and wiped out the English presence. But if attacked, why no bodies? No signs of a struggle? No evidence of a massacre? This explanation still leaves too many questions unanswered. And then, the truly bizarre theories, disease, a curse, even supernatural forces. When a mystery remains unsolved for so long, the human mind fills the void with the fantastic. The Roanoke colony remains one of history's most compelling cold cases. A dream of a new world, vanished without a trace, leaving behind only two carved words, Croatoan and Cro. What truly happened to the lost colonists of Roanoke? Was it assimilation, attack, or something else entirely? The truth, perhaps, is still out there, somewhere in the whispers of the wind, over the ancient sands of North Carolina. A secret kept by time itself.